Today we're talking about the 5 core decisions the INFJ has to make in order to live their dream life. It isn't a surprise to anybody that the INFJ probably has to make different decisions than most people. We're wired differently, and therefore, if we want to lead a life that we deem as successful, if we want to live a life where we're not only survive, but we actually thrive and we love what we're doing, guess what? We have to make some hard decisions. And those decisions are things that are really going to make or break you when it comes to either going down a road where it's all about finding yourself, living in abundance, and you feel like you're continuously growing. Or if you're going to go down that path where you feel like you're constantly going in a direction that isn't leading you towards anything you want, and you keep feeling stuck, dissatisfied, and just sad. Believe it or not, for the INFJ, those core decisions will really be of big impact. Others might really go through them, if they take them, great. If not, they're still going to be okay. For us, it's really that polarizing. So today we're really looking into those 5 core decisions. And before we get started, remember, if you haven't done this so far, to download the free poster on the INFJ Epic Life formula. And if you want to take it to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide today. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. Decision number 1. The INFJ has to be willing to look like a failure. So if the INFJ wants to go down the road where they find themselves, where they live abundantly, where they live the life they want to live, they will probably have to make decisions that will not make them look like they're winning. One example of this could be that you're at a company and you can grow within this company, but you know that this is not going where you want it to go. This is not what fills up your soul. You're constantly and continuously, dealing with toxic people, and it gets worse the higher you get there. The moment you decide that you're going to go down a different path, you're going to decide for yourself what's going to make you feel successful, what's going to create that life you always wanted to, it will look like a failure. Because what people are seeing is the following. Oh, that person just can't hack it. That person can just not make it in this competitive world. This is, of course, just an example. This also applies to the way you approach relationships or, the way you want to live your life. The INFJ has to come to terms with the fact that we will probably have a different idea of what an ideal looks like than what the majority of people, define it as. And so the first thing every INFJ has to decide for themselves, if they decide to live their dream life, is to be okay with the fact that they're going to look like a failure. If you're still afraid of how it might look, then you're always going to hold yourself back from, making those decisions and taking those steps that will then lead you into a life where you know that you're successful, where you know you're living a dream life. And what the people around you are thinking isn't even a thought that enters your mind because you know for sure that you've taken the right decision. Decision number 2, you have to accept the fact that you need a lot of alone time. So this is something where you'll also get some pushback from society, from your family, from your friends. Because if you compare yourself to most other people, you will recognize that you will need a lot more time just for you. Not like you and your friends, not like you and your spouse, not like you and your kids. I mean, you by yourself doing things that are important for you. The INFJ needs that space. In order for us to live the life that we want, we first have to come to terms with the fact that we just need that space. And if you don't have that space, you will always feel like something is missing. You will always feel like you're rushed. You will feel like you might live the life you want one day, but it doesn't feel like you're living it right now. And this is really a decision that has to be made because there are going to be consequences to that. There will be a pushback. People will look at you differently. But the point is this, the reason why we have a reaction to that, why it bothers us, why this might be a hindrance to us actually taking the step is because we are judging ourselves in that moment. We still haven't come to terms with the fact that this is just part of who we are and what we need. And there's something very powerful about this. This decision alone can really catapult you to a different level in creating the abundance you always wanted. This particular reason alone can hold back so many INFJs from actually creating the life that they want because they don't have the space to create it. So many INFJs think, well, I take the time for myself. I, have all those thoughts. I, ponder about this and this. Yeah, but there's always some guilt about it. there's always some feeling of, okay, I have to compensate for it. I have to hide it. And so there's always this association with guilt when it comes to the core of your inspiration. So we have to come to terms with the fact that we need a lot of alone time and that we shouldn't hide it. This is who we are, love it or leave it. Decision number 3, our inner world is not our reality. So this is a hard one because this is one of those things that I, for the longest, didn't want to accept. The way I felt about life is how I felt inside. Like that was just, clear as day to me. And if you read in mainstream motivation and everywhere, it's all the same thing. You have to imagine yourself in a better place, and then you're actively are going to take the steps to get there. If you, are putting yourself in the reality that you are, you're going to stay down there. And this metaphor will probably work for most people, but it isn't necessarily the thing that the INFJ needs, because we are going to go into our inner world one way or another. Like this is not something we have to practice. We will always fall back into that. The problem is that we only focus on our inner world, because yes, it's great to focus on your inner world if this gives you the motivation to actually put something into action in the real world. And our inner world, our imaginary world, our vision is so far removed from reality that in most cases it actually leads to us not doing anything. Because why bother? Like there's nothing good in reality. Everything great that we can think of is in our mind. So it will continuously lead us to being even more reclusive. This wouldn't be a problem if this would satisfy us. But the truth is, it doesn't. I have not ever met one INFJ who's had like this perfect image life in their head, and they had a life in reality that they did not like at all, and they were happy. Never, ever. The only reason why the INFJ stays positive in the situation is because they hold on to, oh, it could be so much better. I know that there's a different reality. I can imagine it. But that doesn't change the fact that reality hasn't changed. And the bigger this gap becomes, the more unhappy the INFJ gets. And so it's super important to recognize that, we love our inner life. Please don't ever, neglect that. But you will take your time to be in that world one way or another. We still have to take action in the real world. We have to start with where we're at right now. So that means, what do you think about like your current living situations? What do you think about your current job? What do you think about your current social connections? And really look at it from a perspective of, what if it never got any better? Like if this is the reality, the way it will stay. Because, we tend to sort of bypass that thinking, oh, it will get better. But like really accept that this is what is going on right now, and that it's on us to take action in the real world in order to improve that situation. It will not be close to our vision, but it will go in the direction of that. And with that, we actually will allow ourselves more joyfully to go back into our inner world, because we can relax and be safe that we're making progress in the real world in a meaningful way. And so we feel safe and connected with the world. And so there isn't this thing of, oh, I know that something is missing. The reason why we feel like something is missing in life and is sort of bypassing us is because we haven't taken action yet into creating our reality and forming it into the direction of how we would want to live our lives. Once you decide that your inner world will always be just that, it will be beautiful, it can be amazing, but it's not all. And if you want the big package, you have to focus on the real world, not too much, but like a couple of steps. You know how I always like to say, we as INFJs don't have to do all the steps, we just have to do the right steps. Everything will change. Decision number 4. The INFJ has to give up connections based on sacrifice. Every single INFJ that I have talked to and that I've talked to about that has mirrored the same thing back to me that I've experienced thousands of times. There are always so many connections in our life, or there were so many connections in our life that are based on the fact that we are giving to them. And it's not even something that the other person is aware of. We are the ones motivating them. We are consulting them. We're investing into this relationship, whatever that relationship may be. Does it feel like you're giving 70% and they're giving 30%, and that's how it is all the time, and the other person isn't even aware of that? Like if you would ask them, they would say, oh, no, this is a normal friendship. Like we're equals. That kind of scenario has to stop, because if you're having connections based on the sacrifice, then it's always based on the fact that you think that the only way you're going to get valued is by what you do for other people and not who you are. When we sacrifice ourselves for others in this way, most of the time we're actually hiding who we are. We're molding ourselves in a way that is most comfortable for others. And so with that, we will never really feel connected. We will feel connected in a way of, oh, I'm like this great character in somebody else's movie and I connect through them and their life. But they don't know anything about you, because this is what's scary. What is scary is to say, I am selfish sometimes. There are situations where I want to put myself first. I will make sure that I'm good before I look elsewhere. Like this kind of action, this is the scary part. Because asking to be loved when you're doing this is much harder than to say, but I'm doing everything for you. I'm sacrificing everything. I'm molding myself to make it most comfortable for you. How can you not love me? See the difference? Like this is a shortcut and it's never really authentically us. And it's a coping mechanism in order to not get rejected. But if we want to live that authentic life, that happy life that is full, where you feel the connection really deeply and you actually are allowed to be yourself more and more, it really has to start with you saying, I'm going to choose me first. And then I can make connections with others. And the only people who I can have any kind of connection with, either psychologically very at a distance or very closely, doesn't matter. But any positive connection that I'll have in my life will be based on the fact that I first choose me and then I give to others. I will make sure that I'm good and to come to terms with the fact that it's better to be disliked for who you are than to be liked for somebody that you're not. Because if you're being liked for a version you're just pretending to be, it will never feel like you're really being liked, accepted, and loved. Decision number 5. Decide that first and foremost, you want to be proud of yourself. You want to look at yourself and say, that's a cool person. That's a person who's winning at life. Because if you start focusing on that, you're going to neglect how that looks to the outside. And this is our go-to. This is one of our biggest skills. We're so great at understanding what others are thinking, understanding how others react towards us, that we can get swept up in this. And so if a person thinks we're cool or we're great, if we're doing a certain thing, we might do those things. And these things will never ever make us feel like, we have what it takes in order to be proud of ourselves. Because there will always be a question of, okay, this person likes what I'm doing, but the other person doesn't. How can I gain other people's admiration or respect? Yes, this applies to everybody, of course, but when it comes to INFJs, this kind of scenario is super dangerous because we can get swept up in this. We are very impressionable. We can connect with others on such a level. We can see things from their perspective. And if you connect with somebody over and over again deeply because you have good intentions, you want to help them, and that person looks at you and thinks that the way you actually want to be is bad, is weak, is undesirable, then you will get really confused because on the one hand, you want to do what is good for you, what makes you feel good. But on the other hand, it doesn't feel good if you focused on how it feels like from their perspective. So it always has to start with the fact, how can I be proud of myself? So if somebody comes up to me and says, well, but you haven't achieved this and this and this, you really don't care because you know you've achieved what you wanted to. What would it take for you to be proud of yourself? What kind of actions would that include? What kind of ways of showing up every single day would be necessary? And if you focus on that, I promise you, you will stop caring if people think you're cool or not. You will just know that you are. And this is a key component when it comes to you living out your dream life, because then you're really focused on increasing this feeling. This already feels good. And the more you do that, the more you're tapping into your own gift, the more you're tapping into the areas of your life that excite you the most. And that's when you get to lean into that amazing life that you know you have within you. Remember, if you want some more guidelines how to get that process started, then check out the Epic Life Formula poster. And if you want to dive deeper and start that process right away, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. Today, everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video, The 5 Sacrifices the INFJ has to make in order to live their dream life.